Question right now is, should I, as a Greek student, drink when I'm under 21? Everyone hates this answer, but based on what I read in Scripture, I believe the answer is no. That we shouldn't drink as believers when we're under the age of 21, especially in a fraternity or sorority. We talked about in the over 21 video that there's 4 kind of questions to ask. The first is, what's the point of your life? What are you living for? And the point as a believer is to fulfill the Great Commission, and that's going and making disciples. And how drinking does not help that. It harms that. The second is, should I be drunk? We answered no. The third is, how should I view alcohol? And that we should view it not as a little g God, meaning it fulfills every one of our needs. We shouldn't view it as g gross, as like, ew, alcohol's the devil, we need to get away from it, you should never look at it or think of it or, pretend it's there. That's not healthy. That's religious terribleness, and we don't need that. But we should view it as the third G of being a gift given by the gift giver, who is God, and to be used in the guidelines that He gave us to use it through and it within. And those guidelines are just like you use anything that God made, to point others to God, to help other people follow Jesus. And then the fourth, from that, come up with your own convictions on, what to do with it. So that's over 21, but under 21, there's another piece to it. It seems like all that would be great. It seems like, oh, well, I just need to make my convictions about it. I just need to use it to help other people see the Lord. And that same mentality is what we do for under 21, but there's another thing in Scripture that shows us that it's not the right thing to do when we're under 21. It's found in Romans chapter 13. And so I'll go ahead and start reading at verse 1. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. I know a lot of us are like, oh gosh, really? The people that are governing us were, established by God? Thanks, God. I don't really like them, or I love them. No matter where you stand on that, the Scripture is clear that God has placed these people over us in a governing sense, in a specific way, for a specific purpose. Back to the Scripture. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what is right, and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant, doulos, for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath, to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities, not only because of possible punishment, but also as a matter of conscience. This is also why you pay taxes, for the authorities are God's servants, who give their full time to governing. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. So this attitude we see here of those that are in authority, we're supposed to submit to their leadership. And by doing that, we are showing that we are willing to submit to God's authority, because God asked us to do this. This is a Christ-centered life where we live our life doing everything God's way, doing everything Jesus' way. And this is Jesus' way, to submit to the authority of the people governing over us. And so the laws that are in place that say, hey, we shouldn't be drinking under 21, this is how we should treat that, of going, okay, that's the law, that's the governing law. So because I am a servant of God, and God asked me to obey these laws as well, I'm going to do that because I love God, not necessarily because I care and value about the individual who, and the ideas that the governing official has, who's in office at that time. And so specifically here, it gives us the two reasons. We want to submit to authority because we want to avoid possible punishment. And guys, so many of my friends have gotten MIPs and so many different things, and it's such a burden on them that they're having to deal with. They're trying to get off their record. They've got to go take these classes and all this stuff, and it's such a thing that they like live in fear of getting, and it's just embarrassing. And thankfully during the time in college when I was living a more self-centered life, none of those things happened to me. But for a lot of people, that's just a thing that happens. And it's like, man, it's funny this is in scripture of like, we want to avoid that. You don't want to be dealing with that. And that's, in the big picture, that's not helping us make disciples when we're arrested and taken in and questioned by police and having to deal with all that. The second thing it says is a matter of conscience. It's just doing the right thing. And that helps make disciples. That shows people Jesus' way, just doing the right thing. Not because we're mightier and holier than thou, and we're over here judging everybody else because of what we're doing, but we're wanting to love everybody else. And from that, we see the very next verses just hone in on this loving other people. Why do we not want to do it? Because we want to love people the best way we can. So starting in verse 8 in Romans 13, let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. For whoever loves others has fulfilled the law. The commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and whatever other commandment there may be, are all summed up in this one command. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. And so, I just think that's interesting that comes right after this command to obey authority and submit to the leadership of authority. Is the whole point is not because we're agreeing in all the worldview of that authority has, but it's because we want to love other people. We want to follow God. We want to make disciples. And so from that, we want to submit to the laws that say, hey, when you're under 21, let's just not drink and let's not deal with that until we get to that age. And by doing that, it's just going to help us have a Christ-centered life. So I hope this doesn't just totally crush you, but it encourages you. I personally made the switch from drinking under 21 to not drinking under 21. And the events and the things in my life and the circumstances and the people I was able to love and blessed by not drinking was just so much greater than when I did drink. It removed this like weird tension I had of, am I supposed to be drinking, am I not? And just making that decision, it just helped me just have peace. And it helped me be able to be focused on loving my fraternity brothers and helping them see Christ before I turned 21. There's another video we made of what to do with alcohol when you're 21 and older, and just different things that we see scripture say about it. And so definitely go check that one out. But for this video, hope this helps you guys. Leave comments below. Share your thoughts and maybe some other views maybe you have on it. Love you guys so much. Hope you have a really awesome day. Sorry for the farmer stand.